and welcome. My name is Ranjani Saigal, and it really is my honor and pleasure to introduce to all of you two very special young women, Sanjana Krishnan and Esha Shetty. These two young women are very talented artists who have now decided to join with Ekal Vidyalaya and promote the indie art competition that is being held on a national scale by Ekal Vidyalaya. They have become indie art ambassadors. It is really a pleasure for me to welcome you both to this Lokvani interview. Welcome, Isha. Welcome, Sanjana. So I was going to ask just a few questions of all of you. So let me start with Isha here. Isha Shetty, she is a junior at Clark University in Worcester and a tremendous artist. So Isha, tell me a little bit about how this journey of art began for you. And I think you're still continuing to pursue it and paint pretty extensively. Could you tell us how this began and how you're able to keep up this passion?
Thank you very much. I actually started art since I was 5 years old, since I was really young. Art has always been a part of my life. Just growing up, I would always paint and just draw and just be as creative as possible. Just like, even in class, I would just doodle. So it's always been a part of my life. And even going to college, I did take a few art classes, but I took a step back. And then I came to, like, after during this quarantine, I actually started like making myself draw and paint every single day. And I actually did like 32 pieces. Like, I just continuously drew because I wanted to have that passion and like creativity back in my life that I didn't really have that much in college. So it's always been a part of my life, and it is continuously being a part of my life. And I also had the opportunity to teach a bunch of kids during quarantine from online classes, and that's been an amazing opportunity, and I realized how much I love teaching. So yeah.
So it seems like it's almost an integral part of who you are, Isha. Would you say that?
Yes, I would say it would make up a huge part of my identity, being an artist. And I feel like other people, my friends and family, agree with that. They like see me as this creative figure, and
Sure.
I am really appreciative of that.
And you do various forms of art, or are there particular forms that you indulge in?
Yeah, I've done various forms. I've done from chalk pastels, like painting, acrylic, just drawing, every form that I've come across. Like, I've even like painted on clothes. Like, I just, anything that I've is new, I'll try. So I actually started off like painting more realistic stuff and like drawing more realism, but now I like switch to like unrealistic things that are just in my imagination. I just like draw like what I feel. So it's been a different experience.
Fantastic. Now I'd like to go over to Sanjana here. Sanjana is is a senior currently at Acton Boxborough High School, and she is going to go to CMU coming up in the fall. You are a very interesting artist, Sanjana, because in addition to dabbling in modern forms of art, you also are very interested in the Indian traditional forms of art like Madhubani and Wali. Could you describe your journey, not only in art, but also how you got interested in these traditional forms?
Yeah, thank you so much. So during my visits to India, I learned to appreciate the vibrancy and the intricate way with which the local artisans in India they captured their daily activities, traditions, and festivals, such as Holi and Pongal. I admired the diverse approaches of the women artisans to convey various messages. And I thought that was interesting that they used handmade paper and natural dyes. So each Indian art form is unique and has like a different story to tell, which I thought was very interesting with Indian art forms. And that's how I became interested.
That's fantastic. So do you think it's really fundamentally very different than the way the, contemporary art or Western art is done? Do you see anything that's very specially different about the Indian way of doing art?
Firstly, I think that Indian art is very empowering to women artisans who usually wouldn't have a job otherwise. And I also like the direct way with which several messages are communicated. They're very direct about showing how beautiful their traditions are in comparison to Western art, which is now taking like a turn to be more contemporary and symbolic. So I appreciate that about Indian art.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. And thank you both for embarking upon this wonderful journey to become indie art ambassadors. As you all know, I am the executive director for Ekal Vidyalaya. This is an organization that brings holistic development to over 100,000 rural remote villages. We educate about 2.8 million children in these schools. And it's really a delight that thanks to our volunteer Jharna Madan and Parveen Minocha, we have embarked upon IndiArt, which is a national competition where children and adults are making art pieces in order to support the Ekal mission. So, Isha, what drew you to become an IndiArt ambassador? What were you excited about it for?
Well, when I got the opportunity to become an Indian ambassador, I just took it. Like I heard about it and I was like, this is an amazing like organization, and the way like the money is going through such a good cause, and I just wanted to be a part of that, and also that it involves art. I just also had, I don't know, kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but I related to it a lot. I was like, oh, like this is just a great opportunity because we're all so privileged to have the technology and like for like our schools. So like it's like great that we're just doing a good cause. I love it.
Yeah, so actually the monies here are specifically going to bring digital technologies to rural villages. So can
Yeah.
you describe a little bit about what this ambassador, as an India Art ambassador, what are the things that you are doing?
I'm spreading like the word around by telling kids that I'm like teaching, and like just even my friends and family to like just support this, so, and like they are, so
That's
it's nice.
fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Sanjana, you actually have been to an Ekal village, right?
Mhm.
Could you tell us a little bit about that experience of actually visiting an Ekal school?
Yeah, sure. So I visited an Ekal village a few years ago, and I saw that it was in my home state of Tamil Nadu, and I saw how well the teachers and the children work together to create like a very good learning environment. So, but as we were traveling there, it's very rural, and there's very little access to basic facilities, and many of the family members and children who live there live in huts and don't even have access to fresh water oftentimes. So, education is really an important way for them to advance in their society. So, they learn several different things and perform dramas and like creative plays for us and dances. And the way that they use art was very inspiring for me to see how they're able to connect with their traditions and festivals and also have fun and kind of escape the reality of their living for some time. And it's also a really great educative tool as well. So the teachers work really hard to support the children, especially in terms of improving the sanitary equipment there. And it's a very important mission and cause. And so I decided to become an India art ambassador because I'm passionate about watercolor, oil, madhubani, and pencil sketching. And the India art contest allows young artists to fulfill their artistic passions, like many of us have, while also supporting the Ekal mission. And in this case, like this year, by helping provide tablets to children so that they can learn remotely. And it's gratifying to know that I can support this goal by giving back to the community through art, especially during this difficult time.
That's fantastic, Sanjana. So it sounds like when you looked at the way that the children were being taught in the Ekal villages, you saw a lot of creativity used both by the teachers, and that certainly has been imbibed by the children. So you saw a lot of creativity in their way of thinking about life. Would you say so?
Yeah, definitely. I think the teachers really took this opportunity to learn about how to educate these people and how to bring them out of the poverty cycle as well, by teaching them that education is important and sanitation is important. But they're also trying to fulfill several of their interests as well, to be creative.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And these were children who were slightly younger than you when you met them. Is that right?
I think they vary from all ages. So children who would normally be like in KG all the way up to 12th grade were
Right.
in these schools, and they all work very collaboratively together.
Yeah. And it was outside, right? I think the class was.
Yeah, the school was outside, right outside of a temple, and under like a tree. So
Yeah.
it was very like interesting learning environment and very collaborative.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. So, Isha, I'm going to turn over to you. And
Yeah.
what do you think is the value of a competition like this for an artist? And how would you motivate the kids to actually make a piece and submit? Because it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. To like motivate, I feel like the big motivation factor is to let them know it's for a good cause, because they just have like, I feel like people, it's like important for people to give back to like the community. And also it's a fun way of doing it. It's only $5 and it isn't that much for how much we like have. And it just will help people like be also more creative and like do a piece of their own. And I think it would just be a fun way to just help a cause.
Sure. So you're saying it's a win-win,
Yeah, it's a
the
win-win.
artist gets to express their creativity and the money goes to support a very, very good cause. So can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about a piece that you made that was very special to you and maybe the journey of how it got created and why it was special to you?
Yes, my most recent piece, I did a Black Lives Matter um piece, and it was like a pretty big piece. I just remember everything that's been happening with the riots and George Floyd, and I was just so angry at the time. And I just felt like hopeless. I couldn't do anything, and I was just like, oh, like I could do what I do best. I'll do art. And so I spent morning till night doing this piece, just like constantly. Like my mom thought like she was like, oh, like why is she in her room this whole day? And then I like came out with this really big piece. My mom was like, wow, like that's amazing. And I didn't expect people to like notice it. Like that was not my intention at all to get it noticed. I just wanted to feel like I just wanted my feelings to be in that piece. So that's like
Right.
how I do art.
And that felt better once you created it. You felt like you put it out there and you felt like you did something about the issue that was surrounding you at that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you're going to do a workshop, an indie art workshop. So
Yes, I
could you
will.
tell us a little bit about what people might expect from you on that?
What I want people to expect, I want the people I'm teaching to have an open mind, because I'm all about being creative and using your imagination, because that's just how I believe you should live life. You should go out there and see imagination and beauty in everything. And so during my workshop, I will do step-by-step lessons like any other art class, but I would also want my students to use their own imagination into it. And that's like how I've taught my other art classes in the past.
Yeah.
So that's what I want people to see, because like art is so beautiful and art is everywhere around the world. So
Great. And Sanjana, you're going to be offering a workshop. I think it's coming right up, right? Pretty
Yeah, it's
soon.
coming on Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's great. So tell me a little bit about what they can expect from your workshop.
Yeah, so I'll be teaching a colored pencil sketch of Gandhi. I chose to use colored pencils on paper because for young artists and young children, these are easily accessible materials. Also, as Independence Day is like less than 2 months away, that would be a great way to honor Gandhi. And I also thought it would be a good way for young artists to learn how to draw portrait because it's a fun way to sketch and express their creativity and use their imagination. So,
Wow. So at the end of your workshop, they might actually have a piece created.
yeah.
That's awesome. Is that true for yours too, Isha? You think there'll be a piece at the end of that's
Yes, there will be.
fantastic. That really is fantastic. And Sanjana, maybe we'll conclude with you sharing about an art piece that has been special for you.
Yeah, so in general, I love drawing portrait sketches using pencils. And so my most special memory was from a few years ago when I drew a live portrait for the first time. So I was drawing my brother, and I was very nervous about how he would perceive the finished work and all that. But happy to say that um, he was fine with it, and people were able to recognize him. So.
Talk about putting your feelings, right? Sibling feelings are always very special, and I'm glad you did that. That's fantastic. So I've seen some of your artworks, and we will share some of them on this video as well, and people will be watching it as we go along. And just incredible that such young people that you are so talented. I'm just waiting to see what the future will hold for you in the realm of art, and of course in your own careers with you both studying the mind. I think you were talking about computational neuroscience and you psychology. So I'm sure you're going to make the world a very great place with all your accomplishments. And I look forward to seeing you. Thank you both for giving your time to become IndiArt ambassadors. And the Ekal children in the rural villages are surely blessed to have your support. So I think we look forward also to your students in the workshop to see the work that they will create. God bless you all, and we look forward to having you. Thank you for your time. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you.